I get those goosebumps every I get those goosebumps every time I'm around her. She's on mine, you make everything feel fine. Worry about those cons. I'm way too numb, yeah. It's way too dumb, yeah. I get those goosebumps every time. I need the hype, throw that to the side. I get those goosebumps every time.
Good evening, everyone. It's finally over. The window has closed for the summer, but it's still not over. For God's sake, we still do not have clarity on a number of things Newcastle United related, and it just still grinds us down, even though the clock has struck 7, gone beyond 7. We're now 8:06, and it's still driving us mad, people. Daz, Chris, how are you?
Grant, I can't wait for the next one.
No, next window.
I'm joking. No, delighted it's over now as well. It's been eventful and stressful, and we're going to get into talking a bit about it. But it's over. That's the main thing, and we can just concentrate on football now. At least till January. But Chris, how are you? In summer, how are you?
How are you?
Good.
You good?
Yeah.
You saying bye?
Yeah. Bye.
See you later, summer.
Someone's wanted to say hello. I think she's excited about the windows shutting as I am. So yeah, that was a little cameo. But yeah, I'm good, mate. Obviously we did our show earlier, didn't we? At 5:00. And yeah, as Pete said, the window is now firmly shut, but there is still little bits to discuss. There's still little noises coming out, and we're still waiting on confirmation of a certain few deals. And we've had confirmation that a certain few deals will not be happening. So it was important to do this show because obviously we can talk a little bit about that, and we can also see what this window means for us. We can look at the final picture and know that what we've got till at least the 1st of January, till at least then, where we have another transfer window. But let's enjoy no transfer windows after today. Pete, how are you doing, mate?
I'm okay. I was just partly listening to you, partly listening to Keith Danick, who's just gone live, but he's just going over old news that we already knew about Wissa and the historical stuff about it. So nothing that we need to be aware of. There hasn't been confirmation. I'm good. I'm glad these, although I get excited about the summer window and the transfers and putting little bits together. I'm glad it's done. I need a break from this transfer stuff because it's driving me mad. Stressful. I'm glad it's over. And I'm glad that we can now just get back to football. But still lots of question marks with regards to what's happening with a few players. Obviously, people would have heard by now that there's an additional deal sheet that's gone out. I think I might have it here from Keith Downey. Newcastle United have lodged a deal sheet with the Premier League to give them extra time to push the Wissa transfer through. So we've just got to wait for that. So it might well break whilst we're on live right now. It may well break at midnight again. As some other
ready.
Did. But yeah, we will be ready when it breaks. But one deal that won't be going through is the other transfer that Liverpool were trying to get through. Is Mark Gay is not going. So yeah, they haven't had it all their own way this summer. Put it that way. But yeah, you know what? Let's just get into it because obviously we talked about it in the previous one, and we talked about the fact that Osula could potentially go into Frankfurt. Doesn't look like it's happening now. In fact, it's not happening. Ben Jacobs has reported it. Lee Ryder's mentioned that we've opted to keep him as cover. Mark Douglas mentioned about the deal sheet. Craig Hope talked about the move to Frankfurt not happening, and he's being retained as well. Disappointed with that, boys. What do we make of that deal not going through? I'll be honest with you, I'm really disappointed with that one not particularly going through.
Yeah, so that was my only highlight of the day, or the 24 hours. If you remember my moaniness in the last video we just did, because it was a great offer, and an offer that would allow us to buy him back again if we needed to, if he would really excelled in Frankfurt. So it is a pity. It does mean that we have a bit more cover now as well, though. So we could look at it that way. But yeah, it is disappointing that one didn't go through. It's what it is. Well, yeah, no.
Chris, are you happy that the deal's not gone through? Do you see any positives in it at all?
I've been trying to see positives, but I'll be honest, my overriding feeling when the deal didn't go through, my first thought was, and I think you posted it in the chat and I saw it flash up on my screen, Pete, and I was like, and then I've got to be honest, when I've seen the latest reports saying that Newcastle pulled the plug, I'll be honest, it's irritated me a little bit. And the reason it has is because it feels to me very much like a sliding doors moment. That's what I was thinking to myself in the car on the way home. I was thinking, this is a sliding doors moment. I don't think that we see that £28 million for Will Osula again. And the reason I say that is because I expect Voltemade and Wissa to be getting a lot of minutes. And I think Will Osula his minutes will decrease even more than what they have done. Obviously, he came on, didn't he? He scored against Liverpool. It almost felt like his stock was reasonably high, because I'm sure a lot of the world were watching that Liverpool game and they probably seen him score and thought, "Ooh, this kid looks interesting." So yeah, I'm a little bit frustrated, I'll be honest, because it felt like, and I was messaging the boys this afternoon over it. It felt like Newcastle has almost, understood how it worked. You need to turn players over, you need to trade, you need to buy cheap, sell dear. And I thought, this is exactly what we should be doing. Signing players like Will Osula, who, no offense to Will Osula, but I just don't, we've spoken about this loads of times, I don't see him leading the line for Newcastle anytime soon, if ever. And if you're signing a player for £15 million and then you can quickly turn him over and make £28.5 million, why have we retained him? For what reason have we retained him? Is it because Eddie Howe was maybe thinking, we've got four competitions that we're going to be competing in? For me, I started to see a little bit of promise from Anthony Gordon in that striker position, and the fact he came out and said and did an interview and said, he sees himself as a striker going forward. Like, for me, I think Voltemade, Wissa, and Gordon was enough. Even if that was till January, boys, and then if we needed to sort it out, we could. So I'll be honest, I'm a little bit deflated about it. I don't want to put a downer on this evening or this transfer window, because I think it's actually been fairly decent. But again, I feel like we're reverting back to old ways. And how many times have we heard criticism from the fans saying we need to sell, we've got to stop keeping hold of these players, and we'll just keep hold of them just in case, or we'll just keep them just in case. And it felt like that narrative was changing a bit. Matty Target going out on loan, Callum Wilson being released, and then you've seen this with Will Osula, and you think, great, good money, let's turn it over. And then to hear that we've pulled out of it is quite frustrating, if I'm honest. That's my overriding feeling. Yes, we've retained another body, and it does make me wonder, were we possibly trying to bring in a third striker? I don't know. And maybe because that wasn't a possibility, we pulled the deal and went, no, we'll keep Will Osula. I don't know. But it just feels odd to me that, 6 hours ago it was a goer, and now it's not a goer. So something must have changed, in my opinion.
Yeah, look, I'm really happy with the signings that we've made this window. Looking back, but yeah, that's kind of pissed me off a little bit. For me, that was a golden opportunity to get a sum of money that I didn't even expect us to get. I never thought we would get that sum of money for Osula. And unless that money is going to be there available in January, I don't think we see that again. I don't think we see Osula go for that level of value again. I think that value went up because of what he did in the under-21s, and we need to maximize that. This is what Chelsea do brilliantly well. This is what Man City have started to do fantastically well, is when there's an opportunity to make some money, there's loads of examples, like Harvey Elliott, for example, at Liverpool. You've got is it James McAtee at Man City? They could have kept him and had him as part of the squad, but what they've done, they've chose to maximize their profit and move him on and benefit from that. Chelsea do it all the time. Tariq, I forgot his surname. Tariq George at Chelsea had a few sub appearances. Boom, moved him on for 22 million. He has not played 22 million's worth of value in his performances at Chelsea, but they've put him in a few games and bang, made a quick book from him. That's what we should have done, and we've decided to hold on and hoard a player, and it's probably hoarding a player because of Wissa maybe going to Africa Cup of Nations, making sure we've got cover in there, making sure we've got. But for me, I think the worth of Osula at 30 million for me far outweighs 4 weeks of AFCON, in my opinion, because that's the only reason for me. That's the only reason we're keeping him. There's no reason other than that to keep him, because we've got Nick Voltemade, and we've got Jan Wissa. They're going to be our guys going through week in, week out. Osula, guaranteed there'll be games this season in the weeks to come where he probably doesn't even make the squad. There will be games where he doesn't make the squad. And for me, when you've got a chance of a player that probably won't make a lot of the squads between now and January to go for 30 million, you take that opportunity. Doesn't matter if you don't get a player in. I'll be honest, I didn't expect a player to come in to replace him. I never expected that, but I expected us to maximize our money, because what we could have then done is when we get to December, January time, and Johan Weiss is gone, we could go and invest then. That's when we could have gone and invest and use that money to our benefit. The only way I see any benefit from this is that we keep him and then we get that same money from Frankfurt in January, and we get the same deal in place. That's the hope that I have for that. So it's pissed me off a little bit that we didn't get that deal done. However, there is still a couple of matters at hand, boys. We talked about Johan Wissa and that deal sheet going on. We still haven't had confirmation on Alexander Isak either, and I think they will be interlinked in some way, shape, or form. Any reason to be worried, boys?
Mate, just imagine if that deal didn't go through.
Mate, no. If he has to come back to us, my head's on Mars. My head is on Mars. I'm already celebrating the fact that he's gone. If he you know what? My head will be on Mars. Dad will be jumping for joy.
No, I'm just at this point. I say no comment. That's what I'm going to say.
You're going to see contrasting emotions if that
9 o'clock
go through. Jesus Christ, man. Jesus Christ. With that better. Oh, boys, talk to me. Please give me some positivity to show me that deal's going to go through. Please, because I need it. I need it done. It'll
definitely go through. It's and so the Wissa one. It's absolutely, it'd be absolutely ridiculous if neither of them went through. Like the two striking strikers who wanted this, they're not going to hold it up in any way, shape, or form. The clubs that they're going to, they're not going to hold it up in any shape or form. It's the only thing that could block it in some way here's the bit you don't want to hear, is that Brentford pulled the plug, and then in turn Newcastle pulled the plug on but not completing the signing off of it. But that's not going to happen.
Friday, he's winding me up on purpose. He's saying we said deal collapse and Newcastle called Isak back. You winding me up now. You're doing it on purpose.
Machine broken.
He's absolutely doing it on purpose. I cannot have, like Daz just said, a fax machine, a David De Gea moment. He has to go. He has to go.
Just imagine, though, Pete. Just imagine the absolute fume. The absolute fume. This whole time, I'm not suggesting this is it. This is just me making up some silly story because how funny it would be. Just imagine if PIF this whole time had done this, and then they just went at the 11th hour. Yeah, you're not going. And all that furore, all that like chaos, and then Newcastle just go, nah, it's off.
The guys that put up the bed sheet at St James's Park will have to go and do a quick run out as well and then tidy that up.
Absolutely.
What did they put up? I haven't seen it.
I've got it. Hold on 1 second. Let me just. Basically, put up an image saying that Isak's a rat.
Oh, did you have a Pete in a skip?
Keith Downey had it in Sky as well.
No. No, that was the Isak picture. But Keith Downey had it earlier. Because I think he's outside at St James's Park, so he put the picture up. I'll clip it up now, and here we go. I've got it. I'll stick it up in a second. Come on, I need to people in the chat. Give me some positivity. Thank you, Goat Father. Said relax, Pete. Paperwork takes time. Yeah, but I just need this done now. I'm done with paperwork. Paperwork takes too long. I just need it confirmed now. So
to be fair, it's a long-standing joke with my mates. They all laugh at how long Newcastle take to do a deal and announce a deal. Like they all laugh about it. And when you look throughout the window, who was the player? Was it Alanga? And we were waiting and waiting and waiting. In our group chat, well, a few of us do it. We call it like Alanga Day, or we may call it Grealish Day. And every time I've done a Newcastle player day, it's always creeped into the next day. Always. And they say, why do you take so long over deals? Why don't you just announce them and get them done? And, you see other clubs and they just go, oh, the player's been linked. Oh, player's coming. Oh, there you go. Signed. There's the announcement video. Bang. And it's done. But for some reason, ours takes longer.
That's the crazy thing about it, that the clubs leave it till the last day or the second last day to make the moves. Why? And it links back to what I said the other day, and Shay Given said it as well on Sky. The window should be closed before the season starts. It just detracts from especially if you have players involved in transfer merry-go-rounds and the upheaval as we've seen this time around. It just detracts from the games. Like if it wouldn't be great now if we were starting the season, just starting it now.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we would have got more points.
Well, that goes without saying. Absolutely. It's always been that way though, hasn't it? I think they love the drama.
It used to be. There used to be transfer windows. They used to go until it used to be open the whole time until March or something like that. It never closed. But then they brought in windows, and it just for drama more than anything else.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got that image for you. So that was the image. I think that was what Keith took. It's just on the left-hand side there, and then there's a closer image here. Isak is a rat. Wissa is a Geordie. Toon. That was that's the image that was going around not too long ago. So yes, absolutely, that is the case. And yes, for that reason and that reason only, we cannot allow him to come back. It cannot possibly happen, people. He's gone. And there's even been videos of from a distance seeing Isak wearing the Liverpool shirt and the number 9 on the back. So that's been going around as well. So he's obviously done his videos and got everything in place to promote the fact that he's got that deal done. If we're putting a wager on it, or maybe not, just if we're just having a guess, who whose video or whose announcement's going first?
Isak.
Or Wissa? Who's being announced first?
off the way we do it and the time, and Isak.
Yeah, well, ours will be next week.
Yeah. Ours will be before the Wolves game.
Oh my god. Yeah. I wonder if the reason why I ask is I wonder if there's some form of an agreement there that they do theirs first and then we do our second kind of thing, so to build it in, or whether they're released at exactly the same time.
I hope we're not that friendly with them, to tell you the truth, Pete.
Well, these things sometimes matter in terms of like getting one up on each other for various different things. Another thing I'll ask you, do you think there'll be any sort of goodbye message from Isak?
Do you know what? I was discussing this earlier. Sorry to jump in, Daz. I was discussing this earlier with my wife, and she was saying, "Oh, has Isak said anything yet about the fans?" And I said no. And then she asked me about Wissa, and I said, "Well, Wissa did a statement the other day saying that he wanted to leave, but it's nothing against the fans. It's just that he wants his move, blah 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 blah." And I said, Isak hasn't said anything like that. So I do you know what? Part of me is interested to see if he does, but then the other part of me isn't, because I don't care. But I am intrigued to a degree to see whether or not there's any recognition whatsoever that, you know, broken promises, blah 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 blah, but it was never about the fans. You know, I wish Newcastle all the luck. And I'd just be interested to see if he says anything or just completely ignores it. Because if he does completely ignore it, it just shows how much of an arsehole he is. It really, really does.
I think he'll get his welcome message when next time he comes to St James's Park. And you know, in some ways, I hope we do draw them in the cup. Now I'll be hoping we do, just for that reason alone. Yeah, I want because he's escaped it this time. He'll have to wait till next season. So I want Liverpool in a cup draw, even if it means we go out. I don't care. I want. And we'll see. Does he have the courage to play in that game as well?
Carabao Cup final.
Well, that'll be at Wembley. I wanted St James's Park. That's good enough. I wanted St James's Park.
Okay.
I think a lot of people will.
Carabao Cup quarter final. That'd be nice.
That'll do.
Knock them out.
I'd want to do it in the final, mate. Pick up another trophy.
That'd be nice as well. But St James's Park,
yeah, the old celebration.
He needs a really, really hostile atmosphere.
Oh, let's be honest. Like you could tell from the last one, like we just completely. And to be fair, Liverpool fans said it. We were overriding Liverpool for atmosphere completely, like throughout the whole game. So that doesn't surprise me at all. It doesn't worry me. But yeah, no. So it's a fair point. It is absolutely a fair point. What do we think about the acknowledgement? Will it just be short and sweet by the club, or will there be some thanks for the memories and acknowledgements? I'm trying to think of the player that was Trent Alexander-Arnold. It was a very cold goodbye from Liverpool, wasn't it, on their socials with regards to when he left for Real Madrid. It was very much Trent Alexander-Arnold had gone to Real Madrid. That was it. Whereas like Luis Diaz and other players got like these big like goodbyes and acknowledgements for all of what they've achieved at the club, etc., etc. So, which one are you going for? Are you going for the soppy goodbye, or are you going for the short and sharp? Not what you would want, but what do you expect the club to do?
I expect the club to be professional in their reply. But if it was me, I'd be throwing a few puns in there. Like the title of one of our other shows. Isak sale ratified. Good luck. So yeah.
I think sometimes less is more. So it wouldn't surprise me if Newcastle just tweeted something like, you know, we confirmed the sale of Alexander Isak. We wish him well in the future, and just left it at that. Just as if to go, that's how much you mean. 2 lines. That's it.
Yeah.
So, like you say, that's professional, but not, you know, nothing, no fluffiness, no niceness, no best of luck, Alex. None of that bollocks. Just, even though I've just said best of luck, Alex, but or we wish him well for the future, but just leave it very, very so that people go, okay, because we don't want to look bitter and twisted, but at the same time, I don't think we want to overdo the goodbye. So I think it will just be the bare minimum. That's what I would say.
Stick it out in an Instagram story as well. That's how you release it.
Instagram story.
Is it bitter though? Is it bitter for how he's treated the club over the summer?
I think
I think it's blunt. I think it's blunt. But I don't think it's bitter because I don't think, for obvious reasons, he hasn't deserved. He hasn't deserved that acknowledgement. And I think a blunt message will send a message to say that, what he's done is unacceptable.
Yeah, do you know what? I think from my point of view, I just don't want Liverpool fans to go, look, they're fuming. They're absolutely fuming. I'd rather it just be so that it's enough, but it's so that he reads it and just think, is that all I'm worth? Is that not that he will be bothered? I'm sure he won't be, but to use the cup winning photo of him. I mean,
there's some good suggestions in the chat actually. Some good suggestions.
Yeah, it's a tough one. But it'd be interesting to see how the club approach it.
Nobby Clark's is a good one. I like that one. That's confident.
What's Nobby saying?
Should go to some super chats, boys.
Yeah. Jump on.
Yeah, go on, Dazzler. Jump in, mate.
Go on. Okay. I'll do this one. Jonathan says, "Have I heard from Graham Bailey yet?" Nope. Sure, we'll all hear from Graham when he's next on with us in the future. I'm sure he's dying to come back on and gloat.
Who was
you got it right.
Can you remember?
You got it right. Sorry, Chris?
I was going to say who was the player he linked us with. It was Tavernier. Yeah. You got that wrong. I can say that to
him. Okay. Craig Lee says, I think Isak flops. We built our team around him. They won't.
It's a great point. And somebody else in the chat said earlier, I think it was just below Craig's comment actually. Someone else in the chat said earlier, Alexander Isak no longer has Eddie Howe. And I do think that's quite significant because what Eddie Howe did for Alexander Isak and how he transformed him from a player who'd scored 6 goals in La Liga when we signed him to then make him the player that he is now. Eddie Howe has to take a lot of credit for that. And there's no guarantee. Yes, you look at this Liverpool team, you look at the 11 and you go, wow. Because it's a wow team. You look at all the players and you think, God, they're going to be some threat. But as we've seen already this season, boys, they've got maximum points. They've got the 9 points off the 3 games. But particularly against us, we know that we bossed the game against them. They came up against Bournemouth, and I think it was, what was it? Was it 4-2 in the end? But far from convincing. And then it took a really special free kick from Dominic Szoboszlai to take the 3 points home to Arsenal. But again, not a great performance. Is having Alexander Isak at the top of that team going to make a big difference? I don't think it will, because the issues for me were in defence and in midfield, and from what I can see, that's still not been corrected. And I think they really wanted Mark Gay, and they've not been able to get him over the line. So I don't think it guarantees success. Yes, you look at the front 3 and you go, they've got some really good options, but it does not guarantee success for them. And I think that there's no guarantee Alexander Isak will be a big hit. And let's be honest, boys, he's joined for the British transfer record. The Liverpool fans expect. He's not had a pre-season. So he's got, and if he doesn't hit that ground running, and let's say for argument's sake, Hugo Ekitike is put to the bench, Cody Gakpo retains his position on the left wing. If Alexander Isak goes 2 or 3 games without scoring, are they going to get on his back? Don't know.
Well, will he get shipped out and Ekitike comes in?
Yeah.
Quite possibly.
Then what?
It's it's an interesting situation. Luckily, I don't have to give a shit about any.
Not our problem. Not our problem.
So that's the one thing that benefits me. For all I care, he can ride the bench for that point, but he won't be the focal point of the team. Mohamed Salah will be the focal point of the team, and he will have to play cheerleader. And whether he's happy with that or not, I don't know. How long he will be happy for that with that, that's another question. Because the noises are that they've almost signed him to be the kind of successor to Salah, because there's rumours that he could go to Saudi next summer and they could try and sell him to gain a bit of money back. And they brought Alexander Isak in to be the guy to take them forward as the main guy. But regardless of that, like I say, it's not our problem. He's injury prone. He's probably going to have to go now as a record signing, as you've just said, British record signing, and play 2-3 games a week. He certainly wasn't doing that for Newcastle United, because he couldn't do that for Newcastle United because his body wasn't strong enough to withstand playing that amount of football. I'm just going to sit back and watch. I'm just going to sit back and watch, and let's see what happens. If he's successful, you expect it because of the money they paid and the team that he's gone to. But if he's not, we can just sit here and smile. Sit here and smile.
Exactly. Want to go to this one next, because Tony put this one in the last show, but it didn't come through to us at all. So so this was Tony put it in again. Now, if it's linked when I was having a little rant earlier. So he goes, Daz is right. However, we dress this window up. We have gone backwards by selling Isak. It's been a vanilla window bar of Altermade, but we have sold brilliantly for once. Now, that was before the Osula news as well. So that was what's your thoughts, I guess, guys? And I suppose that we have still have to do our rating. What's your guys' thought on should we do that now? Our rating of the window, or do you want to wait till it goes after 9 o'clock and we know where everything is?
We might have to. Yeah, we might have
to.
Okay. Just in case, because if we don't sign Yo and Wissa, we might feel differently about it.
So are we going to answer Tony's question now, or are we going to leave?
Yeah. No, we can answer the question, but we'll give the ratings.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say we've gone backwards selling Isak, because the way I'm looking at it, Tony, I see where you're coming from, but the way I'm looking at it is, for me, we've just done a deal that we were planning on doing next summer. It's because it's not for me. It's not like Alexander Isak had 3 years left on his deal, and I thought he'd see his contract out or sign a new one and stay even longer. In my own head, and boys, I think you were the same, I knew he would probably go next summer. Obviously, this has escalated and he's gone at this point rather than next summer, which I would have preferred. But then also his behaviour, that just tarnished it for me. And like I say, the news broke last night, and I remember just being in shock and just thinking, oh my God, I can't believe they put the bid there. I can't believe, I didn't think they were going to, because I'd kind of settled in my head that they weren't going to. But then honestly, I woke up this morning and it was just relief. It was just relief, because I thought, this is done. We drew a line under it, and we've ended up getting not the 150, but we've got a very, very competitive fee. And let's be honest, boys, if it went into January, if it went into next summer, we'd never get that 130 again. That 130 would never happen. So I kind of took stock and was a bit like, right, okay, well, it's a headache that's gone. We no longer have to talk about them. There's no more unsettled players, because Eddie Howe did say that the players did feel a little bit unsettled. And let's be honest, if he stayed, they may continue to feel unsettled, because then they've got a player amongst them who they all know does not want to be there, who may have sulked. He may have continued to refuse to play and train. And it would have just carried on, and then everyone would have been going, "Oh, wait until January. You can go in January," and then we'd be in the same situation. We're playing Champions League football, and then potentially not have our main striker. But now he's gone. It's just one less thing to worry about. In terms of the rest of the window being a bit vanilla, Voltemade, like he exceeded my expectations. If you'd have said to me at the start of this window that we're going to replace Alexander Isak, you're going to have to. Who would you like to replace him with? His name would have been in the list of the key players to be targeting. So the fact that we managed to get him when we did, and we all thought he was off to Bayern Munich, I think it was a really good result. And when you break it down, Tony, and I've seen this on X loads recently, Dubravka out, Ramsdale in, Lloyd Kelly out, Marek Chow in, Miggy Almiron out, Anthony Elanga in. you go through all the players and you go, we've upgraded. And, you know, Sean Longstaff out, Jacob Ramsey in. You know where I'm going with this. And I just think that when you take a step back and have a look at the window in itself, I think it's been a positive window. Has it been the best window? No. But I think given all the circus around Alexander Isak and the fact that we've got no CEO, we've got no director of football, I think a lot of lessons will have been learned this window. And the nice thing is, boys, when this Alexander Isak deal is confirmed, we've only got good things to look forward to in January, next summer, the following window. It's only going to be positive because we're no longer going to be looking over our shoulders going, how much have we got to spend? Or we've got to be careful. We're going to have to, you know, duck and dive. We're actually got a nice little nest egg now where we can go, right, we've got a little bit of swing room here. So certainly for the next 3 seasons, we should, providing that we continue to sell reasonably well, we should be in a really strong position financially. And who knows, boys? Look at where we were. And I hate doing this, you know I do. But you know, when the owners came in, look where we were to where we are now. But imagine where we're going to be in 3 years' time when we're looking right now. You know, as we sit here on the 1st of September 2025, on the 1st of September in 2028, this squad is going to look a hell of a lot different. And I think it's going to be sufficiently stronger. And we will look back and go, good job we sold Alexander Isak because he was shit.
Pete, get your comments there as well.
I'm not sure we can say that Newcastle United have gone backwards yet. I'm not sure we can say that. I think that's a conversation to have at the end of this season. Now, the reason why I say that is because Alexander Isak scored 27 goals last season on his own. We can say that he's an individually superb talent that's unique. He's almost a bit of a unicorn in terms of what he can do in his skill set. I get it. He is. You can't directly replace it. You can replace his goals, though. 27 goals from one man, or do you get 27 or 30 goals from 2 men? If you can do that, you've replaced it. Not necessarily in skill set and ability, but you've replaced him in numbers. And that's what Newcastle United are working in now. They're working in numbers. How many goals can we score? How many times can we put the ball in the net? If Nick Waltermaida isn't the right fit for that particular game, can we bring on Johan Wissa to be that guy? We only have to go back a couple of years. When Isak wasn't working and there were games where he wasn't working, Callum Wilson was, and vice versa. So can we create a strike partnership that can offer that? And can that partnership score the amount of goals together that one man was doing? If we can do that, we haven't gone backwards. Maybe in personnel and unique ability, but not in fundamentals and actually within our output. So I don't think we can say that yet. We're only 3 games into this season. So, and with those games, we didn't play with a proper striker. So we can't have that conversation yet. So that's where I am with that. Nick Waltermaida is going to be a talent. We have to be patient with him. He has to develop, just like Alexander Isak did. He needed time to develop. In his first season, he had to ride the bench a lot to Callum Wilson. And that helped him develop his game when we got Champions League football. He had spurts and moments for 3 or 4 games where he was brilliant, and he had down moments, and Wilson came in. That's what Nick Waltermaida is going to need in this time. He may not. He may absolutely smash it and be absolutely great, but he may not, and he might need that time, and we need to be patient with him. And that was why it was so crucial and critical that Johan Wissa came in. He had to come in for that. So, yeah, that's kind of where I am with those thoughts. Obviously, the Osula would have been brilliant, Tony. Absolutely. I'm still holding on to a little bit of hope that that deal gets revisited in January and we're able to maximize and get, you know, even if in January it turned into a 26 million pound deal, I'd still snap your hand off and take it, because it's money that I never expected us to be able to achieve for Osula. So, you know, there's that. I'll be honest with you, I'd take us getting the same deal again in January and not having the buyback clause. I'd rather than pay the same money and benefit from it by not having a buyback clause, because I'd be confident that we wouldn't need it in that deal. But if we can get that deal in any way, shape, or form, we have to take it. So that's what I'm holding on to. So I think it's a great super chat that you put in, a great point that you've made. But yeah, I don't think we can assess that right now, that it's been a backward step. I think we need to be patient. We need to see how the season pans out. But more importantly, right now, we need to see that we have actually got those two strikers in the door, because, it's 8:45. I'm starting to get a little bit worried now. We've not heard anything yet. I'm assuming it's going to get done, but we haven't heard anything yet to say whether it has or not. So, yeah.
I'm looking, just kind of picking up on something you said, Pete. I'm also looking forward to a game or an in-game situation where we see Wissa and Nick Voldermade on the pitch at the same time, and maybe a 4-2-3-1 kind of a formation. If we're behind in the game, maybe we'd start a game just to tweak things as well. I wonder, would we see something like that in the future? But I want to go to something else, and it links to what you were saying, Chris. And I'll bring up the Guitar Man super chat here as well. But you said, Chris, that we all thought that Isak would be gone next summer, and I didn't. Like, before all this happened, and when we were talking to Graham Bailey and everything like that, I thought Isak's here to stay. That was my. I don't know. Maybe it's because I've bought into the we are going to be number one from the chairman and Amanda. We're going to win things, and we have won a cup already. But it just I thought we would grow and maybe he outgrew us in a way. Obviously, he wanted crazy wages. I suppose wages he's entitled to from his performances, but we haven't grown sufficiently to be able to give that. Because if you think about it as well, there's no one going to be the 150, 160 is probably our max today, and we haven't gone anywhere near the 200 again yet. But I was want to link in the T-Mar Guitars super chat here, because he goes, now that it's sunk in, I'll be honest, absolutely gutted he's gone. Not loved a player like that since Shearer. Shame he isn't as much as of a man. I would say, Guitar Man here, point towards Bruno. Bruno is your man here for someone Newcastle through and through and wants to be here. Don't waste any more of your time on Isak. But any thoughts here, boys?
Yeah, no, I can understand my team R's a little bit disappointed, because you do look back, don't you, and you think, wow, like he was some player, Alexander Isak, really was. And this is what we kept saying to all Liverpool fans who are constantly in the chat. This isn't us saying that we don't want him, or we don't rate him, or we don't think that he's a really good player. It's just that the way he's behaved has been completely unacceptable. And it did reach us to that point where we were like, we want him gone. But we wanted to sell him for the price that we thought was acceptable. Now, we all were led to believe that 150 million was what Newcastle were asking for. And perhaps if he hadn't gone on strike, and perhaps if he'd acted a little bit more like Mark Gay, maybe we would have got that 150 million. But it's all ifs, buts, and maybes, isn't it? And, unfortunately, and all of the shenanigans that have gone on has ultimately resulted in Alexander Isak getting the move that he wants. But I genuinely, I put it all in the past now. It's all behind me. Great player. Somebody who, I've said to all my Liverpool mates, you're getting a really, really good signing. But you've also got to appreciate, we've over, nearly, no, not over. Oh no, yeah, over. We've over doubled our money for Alexander Isak. And when you look at it like that, I think it's sensible business. We've been told, haven't we, boys, by various different guests and journalists saying, you've got to trade, you've got to trade, you've got to trade. Now, we said many moons ago that the one player we would not trade, or we did not want to trade, was Alexander Isak. But because of his behaviour, he's made the decision very, very easy for us. Because now, and I know, Daz, you're still a bit wounded by it, but then at the same time, I think you'll look back, particularly if he carries on picking up his injuries and he doesn't hit it off like all Liverpool fans expect him to, or he doesn't kick on like he expects himself to. we could end up looking back and going, I'm so glad we sold when we did, because if for whatever reason he doesn't kick on or he doesn't perform as he should be, quite quickly that can really change. I mean, look at Darwin Núñez, boys. We were buzzing about potentially getting Darwin Núñez, and we were all over it. And then Liverpool came in, paid the fee, and we were going, oh no. Liverpool were practically begging to get him out the door. They couldn't wait to get rid of him. So there's no guarantee that Alexander Isak's going to hit the ground running. I expect him to, because he's a really good striker, and I think that he will end up doing the business. But will some fans be looking at it and going, do you know what? I don't think he was worth it, and maybe we shouldn't have spent all that money on him. And that could be the reality. But yeah, it's a shame, Timar Guitar. But let's see what happens. Like Pete said earlier, let's see what happens, and let's see how Alexander Isak does, because there is no guarantee that Alexander Isak is going to be a big success at Liverpool. There's absolutely not.
I am, Timor. I understand where you're coming from in that comment. I understand his feelings there, but for me, I had those same feelings up until he didn't get on the plane for the tour. Once he didn't get on the plane for the tour, that was when I was done. And albeit I've had a number of weeks now since then to kind of come to terms with the fact that he was going to leave the club. So I'm quite cold. I wouldn't say I'm cold to it, but I'm almost there to the fact that like it doesn't really affect me, the fact that he's going, because I've already kind of prepared myself for the fact that he's going. That day when he didn't get on the plane to pre-season tour, that was the moment where I knew his Newcastle career was over. Regardless of if he stayed in this window or not, his career was over at Newcastle United. There was no longevity there. There was no chance of him ever staying long-term at Newcastle United. It would have been this season max, and he'd have gone anyway. At that point, when he did what he did there, that was it. Like, it was done. And we kind of had tried to hold on to hope at times, but his behaviour and how he acted just made it even worse. So for me, I completely understand that you're absolutely gutted, and I get it, because I kind of felt like that 4 or 5 weeks ago. Like I'm gone from it now. So for me, with Newcastle United, you've got to look beyond it. What I will say is that in 4 years since this ownership has taken charge of Newcastle United, he is the first big major player that we've had to sell. That for me in itself is a massive achievement for Newcastle United. It might not seem it right now, but we've held on to our major players, and we've added major players to it, like Tonali, etc., in those 4 years to make it a team that we are right now. And we've not had to sell a major player. And you know what? If it was up to us, we'd have still gone this summer and not had to sell a major player. He's forced us to make this decision, so it's on him. For a team outside of that traditional top six or money six, however you want to paint it up, that is a bloody good achievement for Newcastle United. It might not seem like that now because we've lost him and he's gone. But I tell you what, that's a hell of an achievement. When you look at teams around us, we've plucked Anthony Elanga, arguably their best performer last season, alongside Chris Wood from Forest. Villa have had to sell Douglas Luiz. They've had to sell numerous players. Moussa Diaby. They were trying to flog Martinez. They've had to sell other players as well to try and compete. And, you look at Villa this season, they're half the team that they were last year. They've had to literally throw themselves into a PSR like black hole to try and save themselves in any way and to keep themselves fighting. We struggled with PSR. We managed to get out of it. We managed to keep our players intact, and we went on and won a trophy, and we went on and qualified for Champions League with that last season. We have bloody done good. We've done so well. We really, really have. Now with this, it does allow us to be able to kick on. The money that we generate, we don't have to worry about when January comes around and those financials come out, and we have Kieran Maguire on again, and he's talking about, or we ask him the question, which teams are going to be worrying about PSR? We don't have to worry that Newcastle United is going
You don't have to ask him the question.
Well, we don't have to ask him the question, but we will ask him the question because I will be in a position to go, which teams can we pick up? That's why we'll be asking the question. Is that we'll be asking the question, and we did ask the question with Kieran Maguire back in March or April time. Which teams were, and we were sniffing around because we were thinking, which teams can we pluck off? We ended up doing it with Jacob Ramsey in the end.
Yeah.
But we'll be doing that in January to go, okay, who can we pinch off this time? So that's the beauty of the downside of losing Alexander Isak is we've got the strikers we needed, but the benefit to that is actually that we're in a position of strength financially now for the next 2, 3, maybe even 4 windows.
Yeah.
Could be even longer. If we use this and we get these strikers and we have another bloody good season again and we say let's get Champions League football again, that 2 or 3 windows of being able to strengthen with Alexander Isak money then stretches onto 4, 5, maybe 6 windows. And that's where you're having a conversation about, is there really a big 7, financial 7? Because we're already going to have an upturn in our books financially for getting Champions League football. Could that then spiral us on to really separate us out? And could it be that we start separating ourselves from a Forest and a Villa who are pushing with us? Do we become that middle team in between the top 6 and us? Because we're pushing the gap, pushing the gap to the other guys, but pushing ourselves even closer. That's what we've got to think about. That's what hopefully it's going to allow us to do. So, look,
and Pete,
people hate me because I'm being positive right now, but I genuinely believe I've got reason to be positive about this deal. And as much as we're frustrated, I think there's a lot of positivity there. Sorry.
Do you know what? I just want to. You touched on a fantastic point there, and I just wanted to expand on it. And this is the sale of Alexander Isak, and just to go back to Timar Guitar as well. The nice thing about for us as a bit of closure is the fact that we've sold Alexander Isak following really poor behaviour. Because imagine if he'd conducted himself excellently, and Liverpool came in and the owners decided to sell him, and he was like, "Oh, I really don't want to go, but thanks for everything." We'd all be devastated. But Alexander Isak's almost made it easy for us to move on because we're all going, "Yeah, he's a twat." Yeah. So very quickly we will get over this. So I just wanted to make that point. But also the point I just wanted to back up there, Pete, what you've just said. We've already started to see exactly what you've described. Like Will Osula, Leverkusen coming in. Leverkusen. Frankfurt coming in. 28.5 million, 30 million offer. Joe Willock, we've been speaking about. All of a sudden, boys, we're talking about higher figures. It's going to be a lot easier. Look at the likes of Chelsea, the likes of, well, maybe not Man United, it's probably a poor one, but the likes of Chelsea, the likes of Arsenal, they're turning players over, but they're bringing in good money because clubs are looking and going, "Oh, we play for Newcastle United, or we play for Arsenal, or we play for Liverpool." We've seen Liverpool do it time and time again this window, where because our level of player is rising, whenever we do sell a player, we're going to go, "Yeah, but he's going to cost you 40 million. Let him go, but he's going to cost you 40 million. And then gradually your PSR just keeps churning over, it keeps improving. And all these players that we've bought, all these youth players, we will slowly start to see them rising. And it will come a point where we go, "Do you know what? Good player. But we signed him for 3 million. We're now getting offered 20 million. I think we take it and we turn over. We've got another run of players coming through." And this is what a good club does. This is what a well-run club does. And hopefully, with the revenues going up, with hopefully a new stadium coming in place, there's lots to be positive about. There really, really is. And the more that we trade and the more that we buy and sell players going forward, we're only going to be in a stronger position. You look, boys, at the very start of when PIF came in, the likes of Matty Target, the likes of Jamal Lascelles, they're few and far between now within our squad. Very few and far between. You're going to reach a point where there'll be no players that leave for less than 10 million. There'll be no players that leave for less than 15 million. No players that leave for less than 20 million. And all of a sudden, all these clubs who are across in Europe or further down the league than us, or maybe even in the Championship, because the prices of players are going ridiculous, it's going to come a point where you're just constantly churning players over. Like, if you think a few weeks ago, Liverpool were saying they wanted, 60 million for Harvey Elliott. They've sold him for 35 million, but they've still made 31 million profit on him. And that's for a player they don't even want. They don't even want him.
Yo, okay, boys, I'm here also hearing that in 122 days is another transfer window, so something to look forward to. You mentioned young players, Chris Scopes. He says that Vertang Scalia, the Jordanian wonder kid, who has arrived now as well. But he says he is twice the ability of Osula. Does not make any sense not getting the 30 million for Osula. He's due to go out on loan, or he was to go out on loan. I don't know. Maybe options are limited now. Maybe he scores in January.
Yeah, was it Salia who was meant to go out on loan? I knew one of the loan players coming in was going out on loan. Did Cordero end up going out on loan?
He went out on loan. He went. Was it to a Belgian team? I think it was.
It was.
Or was it Westerlo?
Where are they? Are they Dutch or Belgian?
No, I think they're Dutch. I think. Well, anyway. But yeah, I mean, Salier, he's come with a fantastic reputation, hasn't he? The Georgian kid, and I think we had to wait until his 18th birthday before we could sign him. But yeah, I mean, Sopez 247. Yeah, it's a good point. It is a good point. There will be method in the madness to keeping Osula, and who knows? As we talked about earlier, maybe we can still get a decent deal for him in January. Maybe it's just making sure that we have got enough, and hopefully, my hope, I'll be honest, is that we see him get plenty of minutes in terms of the cup games, for example, against Bradford. Let's see him. Let's see, even if he comes on at half time, if the game's 2-0 wrapped up, get him on to come and impress and get other clubs looking at him. I just don't want to see, like Pete mentioned earlier, I just don't want to see him, not in match day squads, just completely going missing. I don't want to see that, because then you're never going to get a decent price for him. So hopefully, he still can put himself in that window, and hopefully someone will bite on him and go, oh yeah, actually, I wouldn't mind having a go with him.
Keith Downey's still in the car park, waiting for news to announce that, by the way. But let's move on. Just probably, Pete, did you want to say Anton and Scalia first?
No, I was going to read that tweet out from Keith Downey. He said he's sitting in an empty car park 2 hours after the deadline, awaiting the announcement of a player. I've spoken about what seems like every hour, every day for a whole month is symbolic of the whole window, crazy times. Still nothing now. Apparently the deadline was 9 o'clock, so it is past 9 o'clock. So surely, hopefully, we are going to hear some confirmation soon that Newcastle have signed Johan Wissa, which then will, I think, allow Alexander Isak to leave the club. I think if we hear from Alexander Isak first, I think that will mean or signify that we know that the Wissa deal is done. Because I think they will be linked, as much as we don't necessarily want them to be. I think it'll be a case of we'll hear from that at some point very, very soon. We should do. This can't keep continuing on.
No. Just to answer.
No, I'm just going to say, some people are saying in the chat 1 o'clock deadline, but Jesus Christ, are we really going to be doing this into midnight to be able to wait for the bloody announcement?
To me, I think the reason that it used to be 1 o'clock is because Terpi Marciano is thinking of when the deadline used to be 11, so then it was 2 hours. But now, because the deadline's 7, it should only go to 9 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly. To answer Nobby Clark, are we on air for 9 p.m? We are. We're past that now, Nobby. That was earlier. I know you asked the question. Shout out to Matty Gorman here, because Matty's been one of a number of respectful Liverpool fans that has joined the shows over the summer. So no, fair play, Matty. But he says selling your best players from time to time is a passage of rights to become a big club. Demand better from your owners, best in class in key positions. Good point, Matty.
I think that first sentence is really key. We've had, and Matty, thank you for sticking with us and for all your super chats. It is appreciated. We have had a lot of Liverpool fans coming in the chat in the past week, 2 weeks, saying, the likes of Liverpool had to sell Coutinho, they had to sell Suarez, they had to sell Torres. We're as Newcastle fans, we're not used to selling premium players for such extravagant fees, and I think that is fair to say. Obviously, we've had some absolutely class players in the past, Don't get me wrong, but in the recent McLaren, Bruce, Pardew days, we've not maybe had those real stellar players, and I think Alexander Isak is the first player in a long, long time that we've had that we could call the best striker in Europe, and then obviously to lose him is really disappointing. And I think it's the manner and the way he's behaved more than anything, Matty. But no, I do agree with what you say, and you do in this PSR world we do have to trade, and yeah, as much as it's frustrating, as much as it's annoying, we could end up looking back and going, well, this was the start of something special. And we've spoke earlier about not having to worry about PSR in the coming windows, and hopefully being able to look forward to transfer windows thinking how much have we got to spend rather than have we got any money to spend. So there is positives to this, but no, thank you for your super chat.
Yeah. To be fair, I've had some good chats with a few Liverpool fans, including Errol, who's a friend of the channel.
Yeah.
And like he said, I think the reason why some Liverpool fans are really excited and maybe even to the point going over the top about this is because they've been on the receiving end of being where we are right now in the years gone by, of losing certain players, not just losing certain players from their own team, but losing certain players when fighting for the same players in the transfer market, so they can understand where we were when we were getting rejected for certain players. They've been through that, so we do have to do this. We do have to raise money elsewhere. Sales, like what we at now, 160 million in sales. Like this is chalk and cheese from 4 years ago when we were scrambling to do a 23 million deal for Maximin, which eventually got Alexander Isak. That's what we were looking at. But now this just puts us on a completely different stratosphere of what we can do. It's all part of it. And we look not to put a downer on it, because I don't think it is a downer. We may have to do it again.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised if a player like Harvey Barnes, for example, gets sold for like 30 million in January. If we move him on, if we can't move him on, or next summer, like it might not be a Matty Target or somebody of that ilk. It might be a mid-range player. I've been talking about for a couple of weeks now. Joe Willock, move him on. If we can get 20 to 25 million for him, let's move him on. Guaranteed additional money that we can put back into the coffers means that we can spend more. Harvey Barnes, if he does score a few goals between now and January, can we not maximize that in the January window and move him on and potentially get a better player? There's a possibility there. I raised it to you guys this morning. I said, if we couldn't get a second striker, why not go in for Rafa Leao, who can play up front and on the left and have an alternative? Who's to say, with them not playing European football, that we don't go back and revisit that in January and play in the Champions League? I think most fans would be happy with moving on Harvey Barnes to, say, an Aston Villa, who can play in their Europa League second half of the season for 30 million, and we go and get Rafa Leao on a loan with an obligation or a signing. This is how you start incrementing and moving up the ladder, by moving on those mid-range players, getting better players, and you do that and you keep moving on. It is what it is. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Where's
we need that in a t-shirt, Pete. Right. Geordie Racer Luke says, cheers again for everyone putting in super chats, by the way. He says, not wanting to sound bitter, but Isak won't get the time and patience from the entitled Liverpool fans. They'll expect world class. The pressure is on. Chris, this is what you were saying there, I guess.
Mate, totally. For Alexander Isak, this is. I've got to word this carefully because I don't want to upset any Newcastle fans there. But this is a step up for Alexander Isak. Expectations are going up now. We're a lot closer to Liverpool than what we were. Monday showed that. But Liverpool, are right at the very top of world football. And Alexander and those fans expect top dollar. And when you're paying 130 million for someone, you're expecting week in, week out. Not what we were experiencing at times. Oh yeah, he was offered today. Oh, he wasn't quite there. We as a fan base, I think, treated Alexander Isak like a king. He could do no wrong, even if he had a poor game. Yeah, but it's Alexander Isak. He's not going to be afforded the same level of. He's not going to be afforded the same level of what's the word I'm looking for? Forgiveness. They will expect week in, week out. Look at the figures that Mo Salah's been doing for the last few years. That's what they expect. And if you're paying 130 million for a star striker, and you've got Hugo Ekitike breathing down your neck, they're going to demand big things. What Alexander Isak produced for us last season, they want that and then some. They want him to perform and do that, and he's got to meet those expectations. Liverpool trying to win a second title, a back-to-back title. Liverpool will be wanting the Champions League. Liverpool will be wanting the League Cup. They'll be wanting the FA Cup. They'll be wanting it all. And from being at Newcastle, where we haven't won a trophy in 70 years. Oh, Ben Jacobs.
Yeah, I've got it. There is some positivity. Thank God. Thank God. Oh man, it's not been announced yet. Hold on, people. But I'm just gonna flash this image on the screen very, very quickly because Ben Jacobs has got one of the first photos of our very, very new, and I'll wait to say it. Number 9, Johan Wissa. We can see it. Very good. It looks good. He looks very happy. He looked happy walking in for his medical. Actually, he had a big beam.
He literally bounce off the car. He bounced off the car, didn't he?
Come on, yeah, he did. Come on, Johan Wissa. Please get announced. Please, come on. He's clearly done all of his pictures and whatnot. Yes, come on. That's the kind of positivity I needed to see.
How does Ben get that before anybody else? That is the question.
I have no idea. Agents, I imagine.
Yeah, the agents
must be. There we are. Do you know what? Just to touch on what we were saying earlier, the Clon lad, great point, and that's gone completely under the radar. By the way, Liverpool sold Ben Doak. For some of you who don't know who Ben Doak is, I believe he's a right winger for Liverpool. Ben Doak, he played 3 times for Liverpool. 25 million. 25 million. And this is what happens when you reach the very top of football, where clubs just look and go, he's a Liverpool player. We're going to have to stick an extra 10, 15 million on that. And that's where Newcastle want to end up. And the constant churn of players. And this is what we're talking about. One thing we have to do as a club, and Matty mentioned it earlier, we've got to improve as sellers. We have to be better at selling. We really, really do. And this window, we've certainly improved. Look at the Lloyd Kelly deal. The Alexander Isak deal, some people will say maybe we've been a little bit weak in that, but I think there was extenuating circumstances around it. But we need to start churning these players over. Like Pete mentioned earlier, the likes of a Harvey Barnes, where some people will absolutely love him. There will be better players out there than Harvey Barnes, and if it means that you can go and sign a better player or maybe 2 better players, depending on the price, you've got to do the deal. You've got to get it out there, and I think that's where the frustration comes from with Will Osula. Who knows whether that will pay off or not? Who knows? But that was certainly my frustration from earlier. That perhaps it was an opportunity missed on Will Osula. But to go back to what Pete's just announced, great news on there. Go on, Wissa.
All right.
Okay, breaking news, Sky Sports News. Mark McAdam has confirmed that Johan Wissa is a Newcastle United player. All that we're waiting for now is official confirmation. Apparently it's done, deal done, it's wrapped up. He is a Newcastle United player. So yes, get in there.
Great news. Great news.
He's just confirmed it. Yeah, so and Mark McAdam is actually quite right. He's saying he's just talking about keeping hold of Will Osula, obviously adding Johan Wissa, getting 130 million for Alexander Isak. He's just worded it as an excellent deadline day for Newcastle United, and I echo those thoughts. It has been. Yes, we would have loved the 30 million for Will Osula, but actually, when you look at it, you look at strength in depth, you look at getting the money for Isak, getting Wissa in, finishing our striking unit. yes, it is in fact a very, very good deadline day. Just waiting for official confirmation now, but they've confirmed it. He is a Newcastle United player. It is done. And Tino, I feel the same.
Do you know what? Do you know what I'm surprised about, Pete? Do you know what I'm surprised about? I'm seeing a lot of, well, I'm saying a lot. I've seen a lot of people, relieved. And don't get me wrong, we are relieved because we were waiting for this deal to go through. But people saying Isak announcement coming. For me, I don't think this is what it hinges on. I think Liverpool will announce Isak whenever they want, and I think Newcastle will announce Wissa whenever they want. I don't think they're working in tandem for me. I just don't see it.
Could be tomorrow.
Maybe one of us will want to wait. So one gets all the fanfare now, the other gets all the fanfare tomorrow. Maybe.
Tell you what, it'd be mad leaving the Liverpool fans wait until tomorrow. That would be crazy.
Let's go to the.
Now get everything done with. Then we release our boy on the day after. If I'd rather go second. Overshadow that nonsense, and it's all about our number 9. Sorry, that's gone.
No, let's just go to another super chat. As we're still waiting more confirmation of announcements. But Dave Bullman from Irish Max, all right, Dave. Glad it's over, lads. Squad improved. Have my flights booked for Brussels and trip sorted for Leverkusen. No player bigger than the club. Let's enjoy the season. Nice one, Dave.
Love that, Dave. Love that.
Now
says his head screwed on. There's Dave.
Brilliant.
And yeah, Nobby Clark has one as well. And Nobby Clark says, question, are Tonali, Hall and Livramento next to get new contracts to tie them down? If not, who?
Absolutely. Like, we've just got 130 million for Alexander Isak. What we should be doing, if we can't sign players between now and January, is tying up Tino Livramento, tying up Sandro Tonali. Lewis Hall absolutely deserves a bumper deal than probably what he was on previously. They absolutely deserve it. This is, you look around the team and you're looking at where's our assets. I'm throwing Sven Botman into that as well. Sven Botman's coming close to. He's got less than 2 years left on his deal. Next summer he'll have 1 year left on his deal. For me, some people will say, he's got to earn it, this, that, and the other, and that's a fair point. But for me, I'm tying up all my assets because there's no doubt about it. Sven Botman is an asset. He is absolutely an asset. Hall, Tonali, Livramento, you tie up your assets whilst you've got the opportunity to do so. We've got a number of players like Pope and a few others, Shaw, Lascelles. There's a number of players in that squad that are going to be that have contracts are out in the summer that we've got to make decisions on. But we don't want to be in a difficult position with the players that we've got left, with the key players. And those key players are the players that have just been mentioned. So absolutely, between now and January, tie those boys down 100%. Get it done.
I agree. And someone said there, Tino will be the first one to get started with City sniffing around him at that time. And Hall and Botman and Tonali as well. Like those, anyone that may be a flight risk, I think is the technical term in business. You want to make sure they're tied down, and we never want to get into a situation like it led to Isak. And I'm sure with the new CEO and sporting director coming in as well, that these kind of things are top of the agenda to get sorted as well. Cool. That's it for the Super Chats, boys. Where do you want to go next?
Why don't you assess the window then, boys? Why don't you assess the window? I think the announcement's come in. Keith Downey's just tweeted out now. Done deal. Newcastle United have signed Johan Wissa for 50 million plus 5. His birthday's on Wednesday and signed a 4-year contract. Third time lucky with Wissa having bids of 25 and 40 million turned down. Wissa will wear the number 9 shirt as we've seen in the picture. Done, boys. Looks like it's done. Get in. We're getting the confirmations out now. So I think the announcement video is not far behind. I think we've got Lee Ryder that's just put out something as well, something very similar. So the noise from the club must be getting out there that the deal is done. Let's wait and see. There'll be I imagine, an announcement video coming very, very soon. But yeah, seems like it's done, boys. Assess the window. What are your thoughts? Out of 10, how are you seeing it?
Sorry, 1 second. Someone might have accidentally put Shane Mawson in a timeout, so I'm going to see, can I fix that? Can't do that to Shane. Shane is a legend. He's been with us from the start, so he's just DM'd me. So I'll see, can I fix that, Shane, for you? And I know it happens sometimes to people that jumps as someone's trying to do something. So it wasn't us. It was probably one of the mods, but we understand that it can jump on you as well. So leave that with me, Shane. I will try and sort that for you, mate. Sorry, go ahead with Chris and your thoughts on the.
Yeah, no worries. I was just gonna mention. It says here, Tarek George. From Chelsea to Fulham, deal off. I tell you what snuck through as well, boys. You probably saw it. Zinchenko going from Arsenal to Forest on loan. It's a cheeky one, isn't it? That came out of nowhere. We hadn't heard anything. I certainly hadn't heard anything about that today. So that's an interesting.
Hours after the window shut is the first anyone's heard of it.
Yeah.
Straight.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. So in terms of the question, so to answer what I would rate our window, do you know what? I think I'm stuck between 7 and 7.5. That's what I feel. And do you know what? I think I would have creeped up to 8 if Osula had gone for 28.5 million. I think I would have gone up to 8. I still think it's a good window. I think we've done the business we needed to do. As I mentioned before, when you look at the players who've left and the players who've come in to replace them, I think it's good. I would classify it as good. Do you know what? No. Do you know what? I'm going to upgrade it to 8. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. I've seen Clon lads put their 7.5 and Bradley Gardner's saying yes, Chris, good lad. But yeah, no, I'm going to say 8. And the reason I'm saying 8 is because I cannot not look at that strike force that we've brought in. I can't ignore it. Nick Voltemade and Johan Wissa, I think 2 very, very good strikers. And as Pete was mentioning before, we needed to replace 27 goals from Alexander Isak last season. Callum Wilson wasn't, unfortunately, fit and able to be able to contribute to that. Nick Voltemade and Johan Wissa basically have just got to score 14 goals each to outscore Alexander Isak, and I think that's more. I think they're more than capable. So I'm going to say 8 out of 10. And I also want to give a shout out to the Ramsdale signing. I genuinely think that Ramsdale signing is going to be a smart bit of business. I really, really do. I still maintain when you look at the Martin Dubravka's left and Ramsdale coming in, Adam Ramsdale, like this was Arsenal's number 1 not long ago. And I think it's a strong signing. And to get him for 4 million on a loan fee, I think it's a really reasonable fee. I really do. And it provides depth. And let's see if he can oust Nick Pope. But even if he can't, you're looking at the bench and you're going, we've got Adam Ramsdale there, former England international. I think it's a good signing, boys. Malik Chow, Jacob Ramsey, who Aston Villa didn't want to lose. We saw the meltdown from Villa fans when Jacob Ramsey left. Anthony Elanga, got fantastic numbers for Nottingham Forest last season. We've yet to see Anthony Elanga pop, but I firmly believe sooner rather than later we will see that. So lots of positives. So yeah, I'm going to say 8 out of 10. I think it would have been 9 had Will Osula gone for 28.5 million, because I think that would have been a really smart a bit of outgoing business. But no, I'm going to give it 8 out of 10. I think considering all things, all the things that have been going on, no DOF, no CEO, Alexander Isak acting like a child, I think 8 out of 10. That's my final score.
And score. Go on, Pete.
Yeah, I was gonna. My score in my head was an 8. I think we have done some excellent business. Like, forget the rejections early on. I think we've done some really, really good business. We absolutely filled every area of the pitch that we needed to be ready for this season. We covered every position possible. We're in a great position. As I said to you in the early show, we've got 2 players for every position, 2 strikers now, right wingers, left wingers. Midfield, we've got 6 to fill those 3 spots, 5 centre backs, 4 fullbacks to cover those 2 spots. We have everything we need, and 2 goalkeepers. We've made some good signings. I'm really, really pleased with it. The only reason it's not higher is because I think the club, the owners, the structure has let us down. They've let us down with the Alexander Isak situation. And for me, that is why I cannot go any higher than the number 8. It's because they have let us down with how they've handled this situation. Besides the fact that we've done some good business, how they've handled this situation this summer has not helped the situation, has made things worse. And I think the owners should be taking a hard look at themselves after this. The owners are clearly not capable of running the club themselves. So they need to, between now and January, employ somebody, more than one, multiple people that can run a football club and do it properly. Now we're waiting for those positions to be filled. They need to be filled ASAP with quality players. But even more importantly to that, they need to make sure that they allow these appointments to run the club as it needs to be run. Because if they had those players or those big time players, CEO, sporting directors in place, none of this would have happened in the summer, and those fans would have not been dragged through the mud. So it's the only reason why I don't put this higher than an 8, because we've filled everything we needed to. We've filled our obligation in terms of a football team to be ready for a football season. But the owners have let us down. There's work to be done. They need to learn from this, because it looks, at times, it's looked amateurish. It really has. It hasn't been good. And I've reserved my thoughts on this situation all through the summer. I haven't talked about it, I haven't said it, but these have been my thoughts all along. It's really not been handled very well at all, and it's really, really poor. We need better people in charge on a daily basis of Newcastle United Football Club. It's as simple as that. So, 8 for the transfers. The other one's been let down by the club. The Osula one, I never would have expected. So I'm not going to put that in my judgment, but we've got everything we needed. And I'm very happy now to kick on the season. That's
cool, Pete. Yeah, I'm also going to act as Shane's inputted in as well, because we can't fix the timeout issue. I think it'll resolve itself, because he says here, great window for Newcastle, cover for every positions, massive season ahead. That's from Shane in Australia. But for me, even though I had my little rant in the last show on things, just mainly from today, I was of the opinion that I was giving it a 7.5. Right, and I've reduced that down to 7 now because of the Osula not going through. So I'm going with 7. But if I'm just going to borrow one of these pictures and maybe exclude the net spend information at the bottom, because that's probably the Osula. It was probably taken into consideration there at that point in time. But yeah, Ramsey, I think he's going to do well for us. I want to see him in goal as soon as possible. I was all out for Trafford. We didn't get Trafford. I think let's see what Ramsdale can do. Alanga, yeah, I think he's going to have a good season for us. It will come good. Ramsey, I always rated. I think we're going to see something good from him. Malik Chow, I wanted Scalvini, but Malik Chow was way too expensive to do. Maybe we'll revisit it again down the line, but. What the hell? Walter made was a surprise package, of course, for us. And very, very interesting to see what Baltimore can do. And Wissa is going to bang in the goals. He has to. And look at he's getting his dream move to Newcastle from what he said previously. So all in all, I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. Still good on the Isak situation, but we're going to get over it. We'll move on.
We will.
It'll
We'll
move
definitely get over it.
It'll move on very quickly once the international break's done and he starts playing. We'll move on very quickly, and especially if Wissa and Voltamade start scoring goals, we will forget even quicker, because that's what we love. We love strikers scoring goals and being the main guys for our team. The quicker that happens, the better for us.
Quick question for you boys. Let's fast forward to Wolves.
Breaking news.
Sorry.
Chris. Liverpool, I think, have confirmed the signing of Alexander Isak. So has been confirmed.
Yeah.
Newcastle issue a very blunt statement with regards to Alexander Isak. So I'll be able to read it out from you. So it says, I love it. Newcastle United sell Alexander Isak for a British record fee. Newcastle can announce the sale of Alexander Isak to Liverpool for a significant British record fee. The Swedish international joined the Magpies from Real Sociedad in 2022 and made 109 appearances in all competition.
That's how you do a statement.
Boom. Yes, boy.
Love that.
Yes,
Love that.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Fantastic. Well done, Newcastle. Well done, Newcastle.
Yeah. Love it. That is sensational. There we go. That's the shortest statement ever.
And keep down, he says, Pete. Newcastle United's club statement to announce Alexander Isak's £125 million move to Liverpool. 37 words. For the guy who scored the winner in the cup final, that says everything about how his conduct this summer has been viewed by the club.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it. Oh, that is sensational, lads. Absolutely sensational. That is exactly how it should be done. He deserves it, absolutely, and he doesn't deserve to be lauded in any way, shape, or form. Superb stuff. 37 words, apparently. 37 words, Scott Wilson's just said. But yeah, pictures of Alexander Isak wearing a Liverpool shirt that quickly gets scrolled past. Trust me, if you'd have been watching this show, Dame, if you've been watching this show, you would not be saying that at all. We have been absolutely desperate for this deal to come through. So thank God for that. All I want to see is the Johan Wissa announcement, and I'm good for the night. I'm done. So happy days for us. Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. All right, come on, Wissa, man. Come on, Wissa. Need the announcement. I want the announcement. What were you saying, Chris? Sorry. Before.
I can't remember. Where was I? What was I saying? I can't remember. It can't have been very important.
While you're thinking, I'm just looking at some of the pictures you uploaded here, Pete, but I saw this one today. It looked interesting. So, yeah, what about this for a team, boys?
Oh, I remember, Daz. I remember. And
you remember it, right?
It fits in nicely with this, actually, what you brought up. What I was going to ask you was, let's fast forward to Wolves. Who is starting in the number 9 position for Wolves?
It's an easy one for me.
Neither. Oh, do you say either or neither?
No, I said it's an easy one for me.
Oh, an easy one. Sorry, Pete.
Yeah. The starting position, Nick Voltamade needs to start. And I'll tell you why. Johan Wissa hasn't kicked the ball all summer.
It's true.
He hasn't had any preseason friendlies. He hasn't had any football. Nick Woltemade has to start. Johan Wissa will come off the bench. Unless Johan Wissa is ridiculously super fit, he is not match fit already. So Nick Woltemade has to start with Johan Wissa coming off the bench. If it was the case that Johan Wissa had played lots of preseason friendlies and been very, very active, would have been a different situation. I see lots of people saying Johan Wissa in there. I think that would be natural if he'd have had a preseason, but he hasn't. So I think Nick Woltemade has to play for that reason. So, but yeah, that's exactly what I've just said. So yeah, that's it. But
just checking. Just checking. The Congo have a fixture. They do. They have a fixture on Friday. They're playing Sudan. I wonder, is he gone or go? Well, he's obviously not gone yet. I wonder, is he going? I imagine he is. He must be the best player for Congo. So he gets some game time there, and then again he'll be playing on the Tuesday. So he'll probably have two games under his belt in the next 2 weeks. Next week.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Be interesting to see what happens. Naturally, Johan Wissa would have started, I think, for me, in my mind, because he's obviously Premier League proven. He's played in the Premier League. He's got that experience. But I just think if there's a lack of fitness in his game, I'm just not sure whether Eddie Howe will risk it. Obviously, if he goes and plays Congo and he plays all those minutes, he might be in a good position, but not quite sure that they will. That's just my hunch on it, on what they might do.
Yeah, and I don't think Eddie Howe, because he's not going to have the players with him because they're going to be gone on international duty, most of them. He's hardly going to switch to a different system then as well, like that 4-2-3-1 that I talked about. Yeah, it'll probably be 4-3-3, and with one of them up front, probably Woltemade.
Yeah, potentially. Let's wait and see.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Regardless, I'm not fussed. I'm just excited to actually have a striker in our front line. That's what I'm happy to see. But yeah, Keith Downey's just live. He's saying he's confirming the case. What I wanted to put on here, actually, seeing as we're going through some media bits, is now that we've got Johan Wissa and it's confirmed, I just wanted to go through some bits, actually, just some different sort of data in there. So you're looking at this particular one. I can't see it at the top. This is joules per 90, and this is Nick Woltemade. So looking at joules in attacking areas, this is part of the reason why Newcastle United have signed it. Okay, those joules in those attacking areas means there's a level of high press. It means there's a level of battle and winning the ball back high up the pitch. Nick Woltemade was one of the best performers in that area. Now, looking at joules per 90 in the Premier League, in fifth, you've got Johan Wissa. So we've got very, very good joules and success in joules from our two strikers. So it's great to see in there that we're adding players that are within that bracket. This one here, sorry, that might have been goals per 90 actually. I think that's goals per 90 with Johan Wissa. Sorry, I can't see at the top. But this one is joules per 90, and Johan Wissa is up there as well. So we're adding someone that, or two strikers that are very, very good at winning the ball high up the pitch. And that's exactly what we need, particularly if we're playing an attacking game, particularly if we're playing a high pressing game. These guys are going to add something brilliant to it. And if you look at that one, that was non-penalty goals. Non-penalty goals per 90. So I had to look a little bit at the screen there. Johan Wissa's up there. His performance for non-penalty goals is going to be absolutely crucial. And actually, it was a point we hadn't mentioned about Alexander Isak, because Mohamed Salah takes the penalties. So he's not going to get a number of his goals from there. If you look at how many goals he was scoring from penalties for Newcastle United. He was benefiting from that. That'll be something that he needs to look at. But just some comparisons here that I was looking at over the last couple of days. Here's Johan Wissa and Alexander Isak. So looking at those guys, you know, there were some areas where Johan Wissa was outperforming Isak. Isak was outperforming with touches in the box. Aerials, interestingly, aerials from Johan Wissa. He's not. I think he's like 5'9", a lot shorter than us, but particularly me. But he's obviously got a good leap on him because
he's very,
very good in that. Did I stutter on that? Did I stutter?
No, we didn't hear what you said. You broke up there, Peter, when you said that.
He's obviously far shorter than us, but he's got a hell of a leap on him. But then looking at some of those other areas, looking at those offensive duels, looking at the non-penalty goals, like he's got some areas of his game that are much better than Alexander Isak. So a different type of player, but offers something that we weren't quite getting much of previously. This one's quite interesting as well. Nick Woltemade and Alexander Isak. Now, Alexander Isak's obviously got some great performances in other areas, but Nick Woltemade was outperforming him across most of the board, if not equally kind of playing at the same level in certain areas too. So his conversions, his offensive duels are extremely high, and his aerials are naturally better, an area that he will need to improve on. But this one was the one that I was interested in the most, lads. These are our two strikers here. Now, what I love about this is that these boys are kind of like the yings to their yangs in terms of like their performances. Like, you know, Nick Woltemade is... Sorry, go on.
You could have won a lot of money against me and Daz there, because if you'd have said to me, who's won the aerial duels, I would have 110% said Nick Woltemade. And then you've just said the one category that Johan Wissa beats him in is aerial duels.
And that's why I said he was decent, because it is an area that he does need to improve on. You know, from the games that I've watched, I haven't watched a huge sample size of him, because we only kind of really started to hear about him really the back end of last season. But when you watch him, like he scores some good heady goals, but it's not an area of strength for him. And Johan Wissa, you know, like I said, he's a lot shorter than me, but he's got a good leap on him. He can get up, he can win those headers, and look, he's outperforming Nick Woltemade in the air. But that's the thing.
Height isn't everything, Pete. Height is not everything. No,
it's not everything. It's not everything. Absolutely. You know, I have to look up to people that, you know, 6'3", 6'4". You know, it's not nice, but the reality is that they are the yings to their yangs. They offer each other's kind of areas of improvement. The others got the strength in that area. So together, there could be a recipe for success. And you know, you put that image up before, Daz. I think I grabbed this off social media earlier on today, but that could be a team that Newcastle United could put out at some point this season, particularly that front line. There's a high chance that in games between now and January, we could see that, maybe not starting, but certainly from 60-minute onwards, we could see that front four playing for Newcastle United. And with them offering each other's areas of development as the strength, we're in a great position, because we know Gordon and Elanga, they can deliver. They can deliver. We had good deliveries in the first half against Leeds. Osula wasn't there. We had good deliveries against Liverpool. Gordon was not quite getting there, just missing out. We had good deliveries against Villa. Nobody was there. You're going to have somebody there now to pick up the pieces. But I don't know what you think about that.
No, I hope we do see this at some point in the future, because I think that would be very exciting. And that's kind of that's the 4-2-3-1 I was talking about. With Woltemade just behind Wissa. So yeah, time will tell. We have to wait. We have to wait 2 weeks to see anything of it at least, but should be good.
It will, lads, and as well, I was scanning through that team and thinking how impressive it looks, but then I'm also going, there's Kieran Trippier there, there's Dan Burn there, there's Jacob Ramsey, lots of players.
Sure.
And I'm thinking they can come off the bench and have an impact, and it shows the strength and depth. Harvey Barnes, Jacob Murphy. So all of a sudden, this is what we were talking about. Why we feel that the window has been so successful? It's because the squad has improved. Not only have we improved the 11, but we've also significantly, in my opinion, improved the squad. And that's going to be the big thing for us, boys. We look back at our first Champions League campaign in such a long time. We were absolutely threadbare. And now we're going into a Champions League season, and we've actually got options. You know, if we've got a cup game after it, or you know, we've got a lower Premier League team at home, we can make 4, 5, 6 changes and still look at the lineup and go, do you know what? Solid team, and that's going to be key for us. Joe Linton. Someone else has put in the chat that if I miss Joe Linton, that's it. That's another one. Yeah. So all of a sudden you're looking at the bench and going, there's some really good options on there.
War Flags have put out a statement. Well, not a statement, a tweet. It's a good one. And they have the pictures of the flags tributes on the Alexander Isak Day. Let's say, but they say you were idolized and adored by every generation of our brilliant fan base. Legendary status. You have shown your true colors and thrown it right back in the face of those same supporters. Good riddance. Eddie Howe's Black and White Army. Like
Love
that.
it. Love it. Classy as always. Love it. A line has been drawn, boys. That's what we needed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kane says in the chat, love the club's statement on Isak. Didn't even mention his goals, just factual. And that's all it needed to be. Just needed to be factual. You know, that last paragraph, I know people were saying, 37 words, I wouldn't have wasted it on him. That last paragraph doesn't even mean anything. That's actually just saying when we signed him and who from.
Yeah. Isak's spoken. I think he's done a video for Liverpool, but it's behind a paywall, and I've got no interest in listening to that. But Keith Down has just tweeted it out, so I'm going to read it out because he's tweeted it. It's been a long journey to get here, but I'm super happy to be part of this team, this club, and everything it stands for. It's something I'm proud of, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm just happy it's done and that I can get back to work. I'm looking forward to seeing my teammates and fans and getting back out there. So at that point, there's no mention of what's happened previously, which I didn't expect from Alexander Isak. I don't expect a statement. I don't expect anything else to come out from him. I know people would think he might well do. I just don't expect it because I think he knows how we feel about him. I think he knows that we don't care. I certainly don't. I do not care. So it's probably best not putting one out and just moving on. So I think that's probably best for everybody.
And there's another super chat in, boys, as well. He comes from Geordie Drywall, and he says, lads, who is most likely to repeat the hilarious Neville versus Schmeichel handshake snub when we play the rat out at ours, lads?
Bruno, 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. We saw, didn't we? When Alexander Isak made his Instagram statement, seconds later, Bruno just posted a picture of him in Newcastle kit. I think Bruno. Yeah, if I'm only sticking with one, I'm gonna say Bruno.
I think Dan Burn's going to put him 6 foot in the air.
Dan Burn's a shout, mate. Dan Burn is a shout.
I think that Dan Burn is everything that Newcastle United stands for. Dan Burn is going to do Dan Burn will take one for the team. Dan Burn. Everyone said Joe Linton, but I'm going to go with Dan Burn. I think Dan Burn is going to absolutely wipe the floor with him, and I wouldn't be surprised. You know what I would love? I'd love him to wipe the floor with him Turn to the Anfield crowd and give one of those. That would be a dream. That would be so good. Regardless of the result, that would be superb if he did that. Just absolutely flatten him and get one of those to the crowd. Just to wind him up a little bit. That would be good. But he's going to get chunks kicked out of him. Even when they play Leeds, Sean Longstaff will be going for him. I'm watching that game just to see Sean Longstaff take chunks out of him because he will. He absolutely will. It's going to be fun, lads. It's going to be fun.
It'll be interesting actually as well.
Yeah, we will. And do you know what else I'd love as well? I would love Malik Chow to be playing and Malik Chow to just marking up the game. Just completely marking up the game. It would just be brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to actually look up now when Liverpool are playing these because Sean Longstaff is going to get to them before we do. So that would be interesting. Great question here from Jumpers for Goalpost. He says, question, worst rat, Owen or Isak? That's a tough one.
That is a hell of a question. I'm going to say, I did think one, but now I'm thinking the other. I'm still going to say Owen. And the reason being is because, we were in a relegation battle and he was just thinking about that Man United move. But it was the fact that he was like trying to be clever with it as well. So he was trying to hide the fact that he was like saying he was injured, but he wasn't. And I think it's all the stuff that he said afterwards. He's just something else, Michael Owen. Really, really is. I mean, he is the only player that I know where no fans like him. Liverpool fans don't like him. Newcastle fans don't like him. Man United fans don't like him. I don't know any fans that like him.
Stoke?
Because I think he did very little at Stoke. I think Michael Owen, but I tell you what, Isak has ran him close. He's ran him very, very close.
Just to update, the 6th of December, Leeds versus Liverpool. So, Johnny.
One Loggy. Take one for the team, man. Give us the yellow card. Just rake the back of his legs or the ankle.
When do Forest play Liverpool? I reckon Elliot Anderson will give him one as well.
Okay, let me see.
Just a long list of ex-Newcastle players. He'll give him one. He'll give him one. He'll give him one.
Yeah, of course they will. Of course they will.
This might be a bit bitter, lads, but we'll check it out. 22nd November. That Liverpool are at home. That one. And then the away fixture for Liverpool is 21st of February.
Here's another question for you, boys. Here's another question for you. I think I know the answer to this, but I'd be interested to hear your boys' thoughts. Great question from DXLE Newcastle. Does Isak celebrate scoring reversals if he scores against us?
Yeah, he does.
He does. I think so.
Keith Downey just tweeted out. Apparently, he's been told that Johan Wissa's transfer to Newcastle was done with 30 seconds to spare.
Jesus.
How we need to get faster at doing these deals, man. This is ridiculous. How do we nearly screw up this window? How do we nearly screw up this window with 30 seconds to spare, man? Absolutely ridiculous. A
question. Right, let's say the hypothetical question here. Let's say Isak went through and Wissa didn't go through. What would your rating change to then?
Well, mine would be low because I'd only said before the transfer that we take far too long. And I tell you what, I would have just turned my phone off. I'd have just turned my phone off and just not probably gone on it for 2 days because my mates would have been absolutely loving it. For anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, I said earlier that my mates, it's a standard joke that they say, why do Newcastle take so long to do deals? Because everybody else gets deals done pretty quick. There's an announcement video, the player's in for the medical, bam, 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 bam. and it's done. Whereas with Newcastle, I mean, look at the Elanga deal. That went on for.
What have you got, Pete? What have you got?
I knew it. I'd said it to you the other week, and I knew it. I've been thinking this for so long. Luke Edwards has just put a piece out, and he said this as part of his piece. Some insiders in the club suggested that from April onwards, Isak was behaving and playing like someone who did not want the team to qualify for the Champions League. I said this to you the other week. I knew it.
Yeah.
And he said, as he knew, it would make it harder for him to explain to Howe and the supporters why he wanted to go. Absolutely knew it. I knew it. And I said it to you boys because I've been thinking it for so long. When that happened, when he started behaving the way he was, you look back at his performances at the back end of the season. You look at him when he goes off that game against Brentford where he scores, and then all of a sudden he just like pulls up and says he needs to get straight off, right? And then Tonali manages to score that wonder goal to keep us winning the game. And then he's missing shed load of chances against Crystal Palace. Remember those sitters that he was missing that day when we won 5-0? He was missing those absolute sitters, right? And then he effed off against Arsenal, didn't want to play in that game because he knew if we won that with a secure Champions League football, it would have been done, it would have been over. And then he was absolutely anonymous. And he's on his way. It's coming. Yes. The Wissa announcement is on its way. He looks beautiful. Look at that. Beautiful.
The shadow.
By the way, do you know what? It's ringing a bell, but can someone refresh my memory? Legend 1966 said Callum Wilson said the same thing, and Dean Latter says Callum Wilson was right then.
About what?
About that rumor, that because I do remember hearing that, but somebody said it, or someone inferred it, that Callum Wilson said. And tell me if this is wrong. Anyone in the chat, do tell me. But somebody said that Callum Wilson said that Isak didn't, basically down tools. I'm sure. That was a rumor that was going around at the back end of last season. Anyone in the chat who can expand on that, please do. But I'm sure I heard that rumor as well. Do you boys remember that?
That Wilson was saying that he doubt that.
Yeah. Look. Yeah. Apparently, Wilson had said that Isak had down tools. Can anyone expand on it? I do remember reading that somewhere.
No.
Apparently, when Wilson left, he said Isak wants to go. Isak wants to go, and he's
the meet on West Ham meet Liverpool on the 29th of November, by the way, as well.
Yeah. They were in the studio together. That actually makes sense because they did the Club World Cup. Yeah, you're right, Sam.
Apparently, Wilson fell out with Howe over it, and Howe said he had to play him because it was Isak. So he had to play Wilson because Isak. Was that because Isak refused to play? Something a bit like what you said, actually, but basically Wilson outed it.
Why would you have put him up for sale then in the start of the summer if that was the case?
Yeah, loads of people saying here, didn't he tell? In the Performance podcast, apparently said it to Shay Given. It was a message to in the bounds that Given said while away at the Club World Cup, Wilson said he was playing war with Howe for not dropping Isak and playing him because Isak had changed his attitude.
I don't know. There's lots of rumors. Look at this. There's a rumor I heard as well that I told you guys that allegedly there was a bit of a punch up between Bruno and Isak before coming back from the training camp. But
in Austria,
that may lead into the whole thing of him disappearing then after that. So, but I don't know if that's true. So,
yeah, wouldn't surprise me. You now. I mean, now I'm starting to think, what happened? The Liverpool game, was it a tactic? Before the cup final when we went to Anfield, and pulled out. He travelled with the squad and then pulled out literally on the morning of the game. Was that a tactic? If it was, great for Howe. But if it wasn't, has it been as long as that? and he only really turned up in because let's be honest, he wasn't amazing in the cup final. He scored the winning goal. This is the problem now, is that his behaviour is now sparked
Tarnished.
fan questioning, was he really ever in it for that second half of the season? He had that great run around Christmas time and then just a massive drop off.
Yeah, so that's
and the boys, you know, the lovely thing is, and somebody mentioned it in the chat there, I'm going to bring it up, and it's right of them to say it. Where was it? Ashley Hannett, lads, let's move on from the VAT. Stop talking about him now. And do you know what? This is the lovely thing.
Agreed.
He's no longer our concern. He is no longer our concern. Good luck to Liverpool. Good luck to Alexander Isak, because I think you're both going to need it.
Right. Are we staying on till we get the Wissa confirmation, boys? Or what are we doing?
Look at that comment there.
I hear you, Steve Cook. I hear you. And boy, are we glad. Boy, are we glad. we got to witness history.
Like that.
Absolutely.
Here we go. Breaking news. He is here. Yeah, Wissa is in the house, people.
It's not the same. It's the same picture we've seen before. It is, isn't it? I mean, we've got
no, but all the journalists they've just released official announcement. So it will be dropped any second now.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. Oh yeah, we've got it. We've got the picture.
There we go. It's dropped. We go. Yes. Love it, people. Johan Wissa is in the house.
Brilliant.
Love it. He's here. We should be happy. We should be excited. We have somebody, a striker, a number 9 that actually wants to play for Newcastle United. That's what we should be happy about, people.
Here he is.
There we go.
Welcome, Johan Wissa. Yeah, I have the slowest broadband open for another 6 weeks, boys, and then I'm rocking.
I was going to be flying at that point, mate. Brilliant news. Lovely way, boys. Lovely way to end the show. That we've got our confirmation. Isak is gone and Wissa is in. It's exactly what we wanted.
Nice one.
What a way to end
it off.
Transfers.
And it's a bit of therapy, this show as well. On it, when I started another show, I was pissed off, but I'm not as pissed off anymore. So that's good.
We've got two very good striker options. Two very good striker options there. Got to be happy with that.
Absolutely.
We're playing that with the Isak, I presume, lads. Yeah.
Can't believe you got to delete that.
I'm deleting it. I'm deleting it from the system right now, so you'll never see that again. It's gone.
Ashley, I agree with you. Great transfer window. PSR sorted. We move on. It's what I said earlier, and I agree with you 110. In fact, 1,000%. We are now rid of that black cloud over us, Newcastle United fans. It's gone. We can now focus with players that want to play for this club in a direction that we need to go in. We go.
No, just a super chat as well from Jolly Racer. Luke says Byrne is too nice a guy to be on international. to be intentionally dirty, lads. It'll be Shar who takes a slide pop at Isak. Shar has that streak in him when in the Achilles. Let's see how it all plays out, guys, as the games progress. But cheers, Jordy Racer Luke again, and also a new member in Dub AIT Dubai 2. Yes, a nice one. Nice one. Dubai 2. Boys, I think we're wrapping up. We're hitting the 2 hour mark. We turn into pumpkins after 2 hours, as we said.
Can we do the how?
That's it.
I think he deserves it, does. He deserves it.
He does after everything that's gone through. Yeah, we have the how. We still have the how. Thank God we still have the how. I don't know what we do without the how. That's it. That is a wrap. Thanks for sticking with us. We'll play a bit of the Hawk. See you soon. Maybe after a bit of a break. Good night.
How you like?